And her feuds are escalating. The drama is explosive. She's not only fighting with TikTokers over her man Ken, but even past collaborators. So now people in the industry are turning on Gypsy. Actually, Gypsy Rose and her family tried to take it legal and sue with a restraining order, but ultimately they seriously failed. So let's get into it.
All right. So, for those who do not know who Gypsy Rose is, this is the girl whose mom had Munchausen by proxy, and her mother would keep her in a sick state so that she would appear like, she had cancer or something, and then get like a bunch of free things, accolade, like all kinds of trophies, go to free trips, everything else. That's who Dee Blanchard was. She took full advantage of the kindness of the goodness of people. And then Gypsy, after all of this, what you could call torture, if you will, or even some sort of ABUSE, because I'm going to put this out, decided that she needed to unalive her mother, and she manipulated someone who had a mental health defect into unaliving her mother for her, and then made it seem like he came up with this all on his own, and he did not. That was her. All right, so she went to jail for like 8 years. She's out, and now she's like all over the internet, everything. She's like almost a reality TV star. It's insane.
Talking about her feud with a TikToker named Nina. And this beef has gotten pretty bad. I mean, we saw Gypsy out on her TikTok saying that Nina was panini pressed.
So looks like you're the one that's panini pressed.
So it looks like she has a filter.
Now, Gypsy is goofy for that one, but let's get into why she is feuding with Nina. Now, I had never heard of Nina prior to this, but Nina posted about her feud with Gypsy on March 12th, claiming that while she was on live, she was talking about Gypsy and her relationship with Ken, who, keep in mind, Ken is Gypsy's ex-fiance, who she's now back with. Nina apparently did some investigating of her own and found out that before Gypsy announced her split from Ryan, Ken was commenting on Gypsy's social media posts calling her gorgeous. Remember that Gypsy likes to maintain that she and Ken were not talking or back together while she was with Ryan. I mean, she wasn't with Ryan for long while she was free, so she's maintaining that she was faithful during her marriage before her divorce, but other people suspect otherwise.
Gypsy. Right. I mean, clearly, like, it just happened kind of fast. It just seems like Gypsy, just already had everything set up. They're saying that in the new episode that Gypsy is like, Gypsy, it feels that Ryan is overbearing and that he's all up on her, And to me, it looked like Gypsy was looking for any reason to leave Ryan. By the way, guys, if you do like this content, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you. And this is me taping behind the scenes with y'all, okay? So that's why I just threw that in there. But really, don't forget to hit the like button while you're watching this live, okay? So let's go ahead and get back into the video.
Gypsy's man messaged Nina to come to the bar that he works at for drinks. Nina declined. He got mad and blocked Nina, and Gypsy got mad. Nina's been posting a lot of videos about the situation. Apparently, Gypsy's boyfriend Ken was going on live and talking about Nina, saying that she's obsessed, just making her look bad. But honestly, to me, it seems like Ken was being shady. Nina called him out on it, and now he's backtracking, and Gypsy sounds jealous and bitter. I'm so sorry, but I feel like Gypsy Rose Blanchard should not be on social media. In my opinion, she keeps embarrassing herself.
Now, I'll argue and say that Gypsy can stay on social media because it is entertaining. Nina claims.
I mean, okay, so this person, Nina, I guess, is like following what Gypsy does. And now they're going back and forth in an argument. And I'm over here like clipping it, man. The borderline personality disorder factory is real. I mean, to be in a TikTok drama is, to me, unnecessary. Like, for it to be escalating to this level. But at the same time, again, this is what Gypsy has to do to keep herself relevant. There's a show, so obviously there has to be controversy for the show. Ryan is definitely coming down. I believe he's taking the big O, because this is old picture here or old footage, and he doesn't really look like this anymore.
claimed that Gypsy had cheated on her ex-husband. However, Gypsy had refuted these claims on several occasions. Approximately when Nina went live to discuss Ken and Gypsy, the former prisoner, sent a message to the beauty influencer. Gypsy requested that Nina not post screenshots of their conversation, but Nina informed her followers of what transpired in
So listen, I like makeup, but this is just like a ton. Like you could probably scrape the makeup off. I mean, they definitely gave Chick a new mask, and hey, but wow.
another video. This all escalated very quickly, and it makes me question how accessible Gypsy is. I feel like anyone could just go and message her.
There was a video that I had made back on 11/8 about Ken commenting, and I was saying it wasn't the real Ken. Now, it actually was the real Ken. So I got on live. Everybody kept saying, someone's in your live, someone's in your live. This was who was in the live. And this is proof that she was, in fact, in the live.
Because
well, she would get in the live. I mean, it only makes sense for her to get in the live because, then it's more controversy. Now, me personally, I think that they paid this girl too to talk about whatever she's talking about, so that there can be some sort of, again, crisis going on. Somebody's talking about some drama, right? And so I think this is paid. Nobody cares this hard. Like, I think watching Gypsy Rose is really like, God forgive me, it's almost like watching a train wreck or watching or smelling like spoiled milk. It's like, because the history behind this girl is just insane. So I think that's why people are really interested. I mean, I'm a little interested too, because I just want to see, the full histrionic episode that will be coming out of Gypsy Rose soon. Because she has to keep herself relevant. Gypsy Rose was never going to come out of jail and get a 9-to-5. She has to be the center of attention. DB taught her to be the center of attention.
Gypsy has given attention to this TikToker, and Ken has given her attention as well. It's gotten way worse. Gypsy sent a lot of messages to Nina saying that she feels bad for Nicholas, the boyfriend that she had, who she convinced to kill her mother. She stated, though, that she feels as though
So this is the guy right here, right? So, look at him. You can tell that there's something wrong, okay? She knows how to pick her victims just the same way mom knew how to pick her victims, right? So this is the part where I have no tolerance for Gypsy Rose, because it would have been one thing if it was like a defense thing, like your mom was coming at you with the tube feeding and you said, I can't take it no more, and boom, boom. But to manipulate somebody who has a mental health disorder, he's autistic, he's on the spectrum, like for real, when you hear him talk, because a lot of people say they're on the spectrum, but they're really not. It's really for attention. I have no tolerance for this. I think that this is the worst thing you could do to me. One of the worst things. Why is it hitting? Okay, there we go.
Have his fair day in court.
Gypsy Rose herself messaged me. Now, before I say what she messaged me and said, she requested that I do not share the screenshots, but I am free to discuss what she spoke on in my messages. But one thing that I think is very important for me to say is that there was a lot of accountability in the DMs that she sent me. Surprisingly, not what I was expecting from Gypsy. She touched on a lot of other things, and I'm telling you, it's a lot of messages, so I really have to go through it. I am really shocked about her messages.
Although Gypsy was asking Nina to keep their messages private, of course, they ended up going public. Here's some of Gypsy's message. She writes, "Hi, Nina. First of all, I would like to say that this is a private message, so I do not want that to be made public. If you could keep it between you and I would greatly appreciate it."
And then Nina went right ahead and made it public, because that's what people do who are trying to get the likes and the clicks, on whatever social media that they are on. I want to be clear. Somebody ever told me don't make this public, I would never make a thing public. What is up, autistic? What's up, homie? I'm mad I didn't get to see you this weekend. I'm still feeling some type of way about that.
Appreciate that. If you talk about the knowledge I'm going to share with you in a video, please say so. Or if you want to say it's by me, that's okay. Just don't share this message. So clearly Gypsy did not want this out. She starts off by saying that she's not pregnant and that Ryan and her were not planning on getting a divorce at that point, I guess when the story started to leak. But she claims that Ryan and I had gone to the hospital because Ryan was having breathing issues and coughing a lot and he was sick. So we went to urgent care and they sent him to get a chest x-ray. She says whoever said that I was checking on a fetus totally made that up and that Ryan had acute bronchitis. She goes on to speak about someone named Rachel. Writing on to the topic of Rachel, I understand that she feels hurt about me uninviting her to my release party and keeping a distance from her. As you probably know, we had a falling out 2 years ago or before I got out, and I was going to invite her and actually did invite her to my release party, but there's some bad blood between Rachel and my stepmom, and honestly, it would have been very awkward, and I uninvited her after reflecting on the situation. Now, Rachel was actually...
None of this stuff even matters, right? I'm not going to sit here. So hold on. Let's just skip ahead. We're going to skip ahead a little bit because I really don't, I'm not reading all these. I don't care about all these messages. I just know that this girl is a mess and like, not a mess. Like, it's like, what are we talking? Like, oh my gosh. It's childish behavior. But, you know, when you're in jail for 8 years and stuff, it's like, you know, you don't know how to really, I guess, be an adult necessarily because they get in this kind of petty drama in the jails too. And so we're just going to look at it a little bit more, and then we'll look at some Candace Owens stuff because, you know, just to give the update on that, plus I'll clip it and I'll put it up. But hold on, let's skip ahead because this, like, no.
Super quickly after this, it seems like Gypsy gets restraining orders a lot and she's spiraling and the backlash is getting to her. Nina was given far too much ammo when it comes to Gypsy Rose and it really backfired on her. Clearly, Gypsy's confessions did not really, side with Nina and they ended up beefing it out on TikTok, which led to the quote from Gypsy, "Oh, honey, I am so not threatened by you. My man wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole." Which I didn't even think that was relevant. I guess Ken has been out here lurking on social media, so this is how Gypsy is going to defend her stands.
Oh, honey, I am so not threatened by you. My man wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. You're just mad because I have a Chad. And last time I checked, you don't have a man. So looks like you're the one that's panini pressed. Call a spade, honey.
Okay, so how old is Gypsy Rose? Like, this is like, what am I doing? Like, all right, but you know what? People like watching this stuff, but this is crazy. Like, what? This has nothing to do. And he's and Sloan is giving the same look I'm giving. Like, huh? Okay.
Keep making content.
Okay, first off, what is a Chad? Comment below. What's a Chad? And do you guys have one of those? Is Ken considered a Chad?
Ken is not a Chad. Okay, we're gonna ask what words are. Ken's not a Chad. Ken is an opportunist, just like all the other opportunists that Gypsy Rose will meet. I'm not saying all men are opportunists, but Ken is not a Chad. There's a lot that goes into being a Chad, and Ken is not one. But I don't use that word, by the way. I really don't.
I don't know if I want one, but panini pressed was new for me, and I have to say I kind of love it. I mean, to be panini pressed, what does that mean? I love a good panini, so yeah. I'll be panini pressed anytime. But there's a content creator named Fancy who we heard about earlier. And it looks like Gypsy Rose is considering suing Fancy for defamation. Seems like Gypsy isn't doing well at handling some of the backlash. And I don't know if, going the legal route is the best way to handle it. Now, Fancy's name is actually April Johns. And it looks like...
So Autistic is still trying to keep up, help me out with this because I feel like I'm drowning. Nobody's talking to... Autistic said Ken is a soy Chad. Yeah, like definitely not a Chad. I don't even use words like Chad. Like I don't. But like, so if somebody would say what's a Chad, I guess like a man, like a manly man, a toxic man. These kids today, they complain about toxic masculinity. I don't know how. No female. All of this, by the way, since we brought it back up with the Chad, no female wants a feminine man. Okay, as much as I see these kids, and I say kids, I'm older than them. They say like, oh, toxic masculinity this, toxic masculinity that, and they make their little TikToks. And he held the door for me because he held the door for me, and then what did he think? I couldn't take care of myself? And it's like you're just doing that for your TikTok. But in reality, this is the kind of guy you want. You want a strong man. Hey guys, I'm gonna like let you in on a little secret. Most women want a man to tell them, sit down, and that's enough. Shut up. Okay. Let's get back to a little bit more of this video, and then we're going to move on okay.
The family is suing April for several alleged offenses, including fraud, breach of contract, and defamation. Wow, I mean a lot. Gypsy and her parents met April while Gypsy was serving a 10-year prison sentence following the death of her mother. Looks like April runs a production company called Mad Ginger Entertainment and offered her services to produce media projects about Gypsy's life and case. The relationship reportedly soured after Gypsy's family claimed that April failed to secure any media projects or produce any marketable content. However, April purportedly continued to create and post content about Gypsy against the family's wishes. This report writes that in late 2017, Gypsy and her parents signed a life rights option agreement with April Johns. As part of the agreement, Gypsy's family provided April with access and copies to evidence and documents surrounding Gypsy's life and case, which also
So I've been on for 16 minutes. I'm so happy to see you guys. Lindsay, Tammy, what is up? I'm so happy to see you guys. I've been on for 16 minutes. We started off with a soft start with Gypsy Rose content because I've been making videos about Gypsy Rose because I do think Gypsy, you know why I'm interested in Gypsy Rose? Her case is like crazy because, again, just everything that went to making Gypsy Rose the person she is. And I think that a lot of people think that they're dealing with a normal like chick, right? Like some girl drama chick. But I think that there's so many different layers to Gypsy Rose. I don't even think Gypsy Rose knows who Gypsy Rose really is. What's up, Lizzie? So I like the borderline personality disorder, allegedly, in my opinion, surrounding Gypsy Rose. I just kind of like to look at it from time to time to see when the big spiral will probably start to happen. I will cover her show too, because now she has a show, because that's what people get after they unalive their moms or they manipulate people who have mental health disorders to unalive their mothers.
Also included crime scene photos, court transcripts, family photos, and a bunch more. Quote, for the next 2 years plus, plaintiffs Gypsy, Rod, and Christy diligently worked with defendant April and had countless conversations and interviews with her regarding their lives and circumstances of the murder. During this time, April purported to be skilled and experienced enough to perform her side of the contract. So it seems like a super fan who like pitched themselves as this documentarian, but really wasn't that, but just like got time to hang out and ask questions about everything pertaining to Gypsy while producing trash social media that Gypsy and her family don't even want to use. Here's Gypsy's half-sister talking about her interactions with April, aka Fancy, as known on social media.
So we tried to do, I think it was a documentary or a TV show.
So everybody is getting a piece of Gypsy Rose. This is Gypsy Rose, apparently her half sister, but everybody really wants to get a piece of Gypsy Rose because Gypsy Rose, again, brings attention. So it's just basically the same thing happening again. It's like, when mom was alive, mom definitely welcome. That mom got more than a piece of Gypsy Rose. Mom straight, destroyed her, really manipulated her, ABUSE'd her. I'm going to click this, guys. So yeah, we'll talk about, I didn't even talk about that really. I just kind of went straight into it. But anyway, so people look at Gypsy Rose as a bag. The mom looked at her as a bag. And now afterwards, after all is said and done, everybody else is looking at her as a bag. If I was Gypsy coming out of this, I probably, because she got money. She has money somehow. Because if I'm not mistaken, did she sue the state and say, like, how come y'all didn't save me? Because there was somebody blamed for this, okay? Anywho, so I know she had money. If I was Gypsy, I'd have came out, and thank you, Autistic. I would have came out and said, like, I'm going to the mountains. I just need to kind of get, I don't know. I know it's like you've been in jail, so you were technically away. But coming into like everybody's like they want a piece, they want to be part of the reality show, the this, the that, or whatever. It's like the same dynamic again. Plus, she probably doesn't even know how to stop that dynamic because she's used to being a product. I mean, to the point where her body was a product, right? So, and she gets stuff out of it. That's why I said towards the end. I see when I talk about Gypsy, I say things that a lot of people probably don't like. Not you guys, but like I say, I don't have full tolerance of the situation, because towards the end, I think Gypsy was perfectly fine with going along with a lot of things because mom, they were getting free trips to Disney, free homes, and this was her life. So this girl's been an actor all her life. It's a shame that she was put in this situation, like she was brought up this way. But again, the using the young man and just taking advantage of him, like he thought he was like in a movie, like he was her superhero or something. And that part I don't like. I mean, maybe he would have did that with somebody else, unalive somebody else's family. But I'm not going to be the one to get somebody like that to do it. That's all I'm saying. Lizzie asked a question real quick, and then we'll read this question. We'll look and see what the half-sister's saying. Then we're going to move on to Candace Owens, who was at TPUSA, which we'll talk about that, and then we'll move into, me talking about my birthday. So I wonder if she has avoidant personality disorder too. It seems like she wants to completely separate herself from who she once was, looks-wise. Her shows probably how she can afford. Well, of course, yeah, that's a fact. And I mean, well, I think that even her wanting to change her looks is just her wanting to look cool, for the attention. I just think that's what it is. I mean, I think also too, she's bringing I think she's holding the big finale for like soon enough where she'll be pregnant. Gypsy should concentrate on herself, in my opinion. Try to be an advocate for Munchausen by proxy. That is a serious issue. Yup, she could turn this into something positive, not something selfish. That was the plan. Remember when she went on The View and she was like, yeah, I'm going to be an advocate for Munchausen by proxy. And then she went on like her Instagram and she was like reading something about Munchausen. Okay, so Munchausen by proxy, and that was her being an advocate, reading something, right? And I was like, well, if she's going to really be an advocate, she should talk about how now it's basically seems like it's morphed into this transgender situation that we have going on. Obviously, she's not going to do that because that's not the cool thing to do. So it's just all fake. It's just fake, just gay. But let's see what this chick has to say, and then we'll move on.
Show or something.